Hello, my name is Out There Enough Mystery Man. This is my AEW Collision from last Saturday review. And the reason why this video is taking a long time to come out is because I just now finally got around to fully finishing watching Collision. So I've had a long time to get to it. So let's just get right into a review. The first match on Collision was a ladder match. Winner gets Andrade El Idolo match. Ladder match, yeah. Andrade El Idolo defeats one third of the AEW Trio champions, Buddy Matthews. And what can I just say? I'm just gonna say this. So the whole story here is that the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julio Hart, they all collectively decided to steal Andrade's El Idolo mask, because apparently the mask gives him powers of something. But if it's Andrade's El Idolo's intellectual property, couldn't he just go to Tony and be like, "Hey Tony, I want my property back, and if you don't help me get my property back, I'm going to call the cops and arrest these people for theft." Just saying. This could have all been solved, but nope. But let's have a ladder match. Cool. It was a good match, although it is just a modern day ladder match with spots after spots after spots, a little bit of a spot sped, but it was a pretty enjoyable match. I did really enjoy this match. It's a lot better than what you get on Dynamite, which you're gonna hear me say a lot in these comments. But it was a fairly enjoyable, great opening match for Collision. The next match, Darby Allin defeats Minoru Suzuki. And I love Minoru Suzuki so much for one particular reason. Because he's basically everybody's angry old grandpa. If everybody's angry old grandpa was a professional wrestler with an MMA background. So, of course, whenever Minoru Suzuki shows up, I'm all about it, no matter what company he's in. I would love to see... I know this will never happen, but I would love to see him in WWE someday. That'd be hilarious. Just that man with his gimmick in WWE would be hilarious. I don't know. I don't think Triple H would do anything with him, though. But this match was what it was. It was a fairly quite enjoyable match. I mean, Minoru Suzuki is old, and Darby Allin is basically a projectile at this point, so... You just got what you expect from a Minoru Suzuki Darby Allin match. A lot of chops, a lot of high-flying impact moves that don't really land. And at the end, Darby Allin won. So the next match was Samoa Joe defeating Gravity. And well, Samoa Joe won and defeated a man who I had no idea existed until I had no idea existed until I found out he was going to fight Pac on Dynamite. I had no idea who this man was. I thought he was supposed to be an alien, but apparently he's an astronaut. But he has a mask on, but he has really long hair. So at first I thought, oh my god, is he a Kane? Is he whipping up Kane from 1999? Is he whipping up Kane? But turns out, nope, he's an astronaut. And also, Gravity, really, that's the best he could come up with. Wouldn't it make more sense if he's an astronaut to be non-gravity? Like, shouldn't his nickname be non-gravity? The man that, well, then again, yeah. I don't know, his gimmick just seems very odd to me. Like, he's an astronaut. But that doesn't really play into his character here in AEW. And it was a fairly boring, basic match. I mean, I love seeing Samoa Joe just beat the shit out of people because, well, he's Samoa Joe. He does that pretty well. But at the same time, I have nothing to say about this match as a thing. I mean, Gravity does some moves, but I've never heard of this man. I couldn't go on to tell you all these wonderful stories about Gravity I have as a child. I don't have none. I tell you a bunch of times as Samoa Joe, Samoa Joe was in one of my favorite matches of all time. Especially my favorite triple threat match of all time. 2005, TNA Unbreakable 2005. The greatest triple threat match in professional wrestling history. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Greatest triple threat match in professional wrestling history, bar none. No one can ever convince me otherwise. That is the best triple threat match that has ever taken place. That match is a match that I could watch every single day for the rest of my life, and I will never get pissed and I would never get bored with it. So the next match was a trios match. Bullet Club Gold. Yep, that's still a thing. The shoot 'em gun, the guns up, that's still a thing. Or the too sweet, the too sweet, woo woo, too sweet. That's still a thing apparently. Juice Robinson and Austin and Colton Gunn, or better known as the Ass Boys, defeated the Triple A Mega Champion El Hijo de Vaquino, Darius Martin, and Action Andretti. This match was actually very good. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Ass Boys, and I think Bullet Club has overstayed their welcome. I don't understand that whole new guns up thing, because to me it just like four dudes coming together to basically make kind of penises. But hey, do what you like, I guess. Do what you like, I guess. And plus, Bullet Club is not as cool and popular as it once was. But this was a great match. El Hijo de Viking is amazing. Super talented. Darius Martin is fine. Action Andretti is basically average at this point. Juice Robinson is just so interesting to watch from the perspective of this man kind of seems just so enamored and so excited with whatever he does. And Jay White is on the outside, and of course, about I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, Jay White and Juice Robinson at FTR had the greatest tag team match had one of, if not the greatest tag team match of all time. That was a phenomenal match. That was an amazing, phenomenal match, quite frankly. It's the greatest tag team match to ever be shown on television. But then again, I don't know if it's the greatest tag team match of all time, because he still got FTR versus the Briscoe brothers. R.I.P. to Jay Briscoe. Gone, but never forgotten. There is that, so that's my whole thing. It was a phenomenal match. It's a great way to spend 58 minutes of your life. But this match was a very interesting, good 6-man tag team match. But at the same time, I feel like we see 6-man tag team matches so often in AEW that when you see them, you go, oh great, this again? Yippee, this again. Oh yippee, this again. Oh yippee, more of this. Yippee. I'm so excited. And then we had a match against a woman who I had no idea was still employed by this company. Mercedes Martinez, who I did not even realize was still employed. I was like, oh my god, she's still employed? Wow, good for her. I thought she was fired. Defeated Kiera Hogan. Well, you can always say one thing about Kiera Hogan. She's got a nice ass. That's the basic of her entire character. She's got a nice ass. I'm not even trying to put the poor woman down. I just think other than that, she's not very good in the ring. And other than that, she doesn't have nothing else going for her. She ain't very talented. In my opinion, she doesn't do it for me as a professional wrestler. I don't see future top star, future AEW Women's World Champion, Kiera Hogan. I just don't. But this was a fairly decent job of match. And now we get to the main event. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR, Das Hardware, and Cash Wheeler defeated Better Than You, Baby, MJF, and Adam Cole. And well, as you see in my Blood and Guts review, I am a big fan of this storyline. This was a great match. I love the comedic timing of the match. I love the non-comedic timing of the match. I love the the great back and forth between Adam Cole and MJF with the crowd. MJF is basically was basically for this entire thing a babyface, whether he wants to admit, whether he wants to show, whether it's what they wanted to go with or not. He was a babyface in this match. Let's be perfectly honest here. Is it better than Bullet Club Gold versus FTR? No, you can't beat the greatest tag team match of all time. But this match was very good. Like passable 4-star match. Absolutely gold 4-star match. FTR won, of course, because, well, I figured they was going to win because you don't want to make MJF a double champion, especially not if you're going to turn him babyface. And at the end of the match, I honestly had two thoughts going through my head. Is MJF and Adam Cole is either one of them gonna attack each other, or are they gonna kiss? Because that was the two things. Now, that was to be taken as a joke, but that was literally my two reactions from their confrontation. Now let's get into the promo part of this program, because I might be going to AEW Collision next week, this Saturday, because they're coming to Greenville, South Carolina. I live in Greenville, South Carolina. If you didn't know where I live in Greenville, South Carolina. So I might be going to Collision if everything works out the way it does. So I'm very interested to see CM Punk as the real AEW World Heavyweight Champion, because he is the real AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Let's be perfectly honest here. He never lost the belt after he won it back from John Moxley at Double or Nothing. MJF beat John Moxley for the AEW World Championship, who couldn't beat CM Punk again, who won it in that weird tournament of champions, which made no sense, which was kind of just stupid to begin with. Big T fan. Sweet tea. I'm from the South, so I love tea. And he's facing Absolute Rookie Stars, the winner of the 2023 Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. Owen Hart Men's Memorial Tournament. You have to make sure you put men's, because there's two of them. Because the other one won by Will Nightingale, who is fairly good, but the best description I can give you of Will Nightingale, she's a very happy woman. I mean, she has a ton of energy, don't get me wrong. She's a very happy woman. Kind of gets to the point of annoying sometimes, but she seems like a very nice woman who's very good. So she won as well. She was also the first ever NJPW Women's Strong World Champion. So that's a thing, I guess, for you. I hope someday I get to review NJPW. That would be really fun. Because I just love NJPW for the weird amount of championship belts they have. Especially with the whole juniors division, and I just love that. But I would review some more about it, but I really want to go back to the beach, so let me just give you off. This was a great show. Collision is the best show. Collision is the only AEW program you should watch. It's the best AEW program. It's the only AEW program that features professional wrestling and not a bunch of comedy from the elite, or as I like to call them, a bunch of kids, a bunch of middle school kids who still haven't grown up, running around with, going off of a guy with a billionaire's money. You know, Tony Khan and Dixie Carter are basically the same person, in a sense, when you think about it. Because Dixie Carter had a bunch of money from her mommy and daddy, and Tony Khan has a bunch of money from his mom, from his dad. The only difference is Dixie Carter was able to employ Jim Cornette. And Tony Khan wishes he could employ Jim Cornette, because Jim Cornette does live rent-free in AEW's head. Because everything he says about the Elite and AEW is true. But before I go, I just love the fact that Elton John, Saturday Night is Alright for a Fight, is the theme song. Because when I showed this to people who have never seen professional wrestling before, or haven't watched it in like 20 years, the immediate first thing go, is that Elton John? And I go, yes. Is that Sir Elton John? I go, yes. I go, oh my God, this is awesome. And I got nothing else to say. This was a great show. I try to make a more in-depth AEW Collision review later on. Maybe if I don't go, I'll make a more in-depth for the one in South Carolina, for the one in Greenville, South Carolina. But I think I am going, because if I don't go to that, I'm going to Six Flags. So, well, not Six Flags, Frankie Fun Park. So either way, I'm going to have some fun. Oh, and SummerSlam is also, I will be doing a SummerSlam review. But just expect that Monday or Tuesday. So yeah. So this was a great AEW Collision review. Also, one more thing. This is just a quick shout out for my main man Kyrese. He wanted this, so I gave it to you, Kyrese. Here you go. Here's your AEW Collision review. I hope you enjoy it, and hope anybody else who sees it enjoys it. It's still amazing me that people see my face and think, we would like to hear what this man has to say. So that every single person who has ever watched one of my videos, I thank you a bunch. See you next time.